Hi, I'm Robin Retallick from the Law of Attraction Club. Our goal is to make life understandable. In other words, what is this game of life on earth really all about? And secondly, to have you understand that those old habits of thinking yours are what is holding you where you are right now. To have you discover some new ways of thinking and have those be your new habits in order that we can make joyous creation possible. We want you to step into a world created by choice, to have you discover, or really rediscover, the power that you have. This is going to be the first of our videos about the law of attraction, and we're going to be talking about it in some new ways. We want to unravel the mystery a bit here. And I'd like to say up front here that there's a lot of fuzzy thinking out there about what this thing called the law of attraction really is. Even from some of the well-known gurus, the self-help and spiritual gurus. Our goal is to have you understand the way it works. We'll talk about the way it's normally defined. We'll use some new words. We're going to use simple English language. And when describing it, we hope you will get some perspective on all of this. See the way in which the world flows to you. Let me also add 3 things here. If you can remember to always reach for the better feeling thought, recognize that you're at choice, recognize that nothing is important as feeling good, then none of this explanation about the way the world works is really all that important. All of this only serves if it helps you. If it helps you become more knowledgeable about the things that you're trying to do to give you more confidence, more optimism, that the course you're on is the right one, that's the only way it serves you. Otherwise, it's just academic. Secondly, we'll be using English language, simple English language here, but always these are going to be approximations because we're using finite language to try and describe the infinite. So bear that in mind. And thirdly, we're not asking you to take faith here or suspend logic. We may be asking you to open up the box a little in terms of what's believable. We may be asking you to open it up a lot, in fact, even as quantum physics has required that our scientists open up their box of what is believable, so you may be doing that here. But here's something that I wouldn't have said in my earlier life. The only true test of all of this is how you feel about it. As always, take what feels good, leave the rest. Some history. Back in 1990, my other half, Eva Gregory, introduced me to the work of Abraham-Hicks. And I was skeptical at first, the engineer in me, I guess. But long story short, over the next 18 years, I found myself listening to about 2,000 plus hours of their audios, going to their seminars and being in the hot seat. I think what hooked me about them in particular was very simple, no elaborate story. They stuck to the basics. They talked about the law of attraction and it made sense. And there's enormous appreciation for what they've done. We owe them a huge debt because they really laid the foundation. They paved the way. And then in 2008, I found Nina channeling this same group of entities, this same energy, which we now call Torah. And we hooked up to form this law of attraction community. In that same year, Eva, my other half, having vowed that she was never going to be a channel, began to channel. And here I was suddenly with daily access to Torah, and as you might imagine, able then to really explore questions in a way I'd never done before. Able to get to the, but yes, what about this question behind the question, and so on and so on. And you'd think after 18 years of what I call my Abraham phase, that I pretty much had it down. And to be honest, I did think I had it down. But since 2008, there have been some surprises and some big ahas. One of the surprises was, of course, the number of people that are around that are channeling. And, in that same year, both Mary Beth and Rachel, who are now regularly channeling on Wednesdays and Thursday night conference calls with us, also joined the community. One of the other, I'll talk some more about channeling in a future session. I won't go into the nature of channeling so much here, except to say is that there's nothing mysterious or sacred or holy or mystical about it. It's as normal and natural as having breakfast. It's just surfacing the conversation that's always going on, surfacing some of it into consciousness. And we all do it. The other surprise was, having now stepped into this sort of world, if you like, of the spiritual, the mystical, the energy, the whatever. It was sort of like I'd breached the Abraham-Hicks lagoon and got into the ocean. And all of a sudden, all of these stories, huge numbers of elaborate stories. And I'm trying to get my head around all these stories, and I said to Terra, what's going on here? And they said, well, of course, because the law of attraction says you attract that which you believe, that which you know, that which you expect. All of these stories are true. And I went on about, well, they can't all be true because some of them are contradictory. And they said they are all true, and I got it, all true for the people that believe them, because of course that's the world they attract. And so out of that I learned in particular a lot of allowing, a lot of acceptance of others for what they believed, and allowing them to have their story. But at the same time it also became important to understand what lay beneath that, at least for us. What were the basics that are independent of a story, of a belief system, of a choice? What exists there in spite of nothing? Everything depends on that, is based on it. What are those things? Well, we call them the absolutes, and there's 3 of them. 1, you exist as a part of all that is. God, Source, the universe, whatever name you choose to give it, with all the power and capability of that bigger whole. You are part of that pure positive energy. 2, as long as there is individuation, sorry, it's a long word, but we don't have a better one. As long as there is seeming separateness, seeming clumps of us that are individual and separate, the law of attraction is the organizing principle of all energy flow in the universe. And folks, everything is energy. And the scientists tell us that matter and energy are interchangeable. Matter is energy. And this energy flow, the way in which things flow, is all down to the law of attraction. And 3, apart from 1 and 2 above, in other words, apart from the fact that you exist as a part of God, apart from the fact that the law of attraction is the flow, everything else is a choice. Everything else is a choice. Now, as soon as we say everything, I know you're probably subconsciously going to put a box around that and say, okay, well, these are the things I think I can change. But let's talk about what you can change here, because when we say everything, we mean everything. Let's look at the easy things. Your choice in what you have for dinner. Your choice in what you talk about. Your choice in the way you react to things, although sometimes they may seem like knee-jerk reactions. Your choice in what you believe. This may be getting a little harder to grasp, but even those core beliefs of yours are choices. And here's the stretch. You're also at choice in what you choose to know, what you have absolute certainty about. All those things that you just know, those are also choices. Now, in part 2 of this 3-part series on the law of attraction, we're going to talk some more about what you know and the levels at which you know it. We're going to talk about the way the law of attraction is classically defined and suggest some different ways of describing it, so that those of you that have been having trouble drawing a straight line between what you're focusing on and what seems to be showing up in your reality, there's some help available. We think this will open things up for you, and so if you'd like to subscribe here, you'll get the next update automatically, and we'll see you soon.